Coming up, the Red Sox take both games of a doubleheader against the Yankees. This is Locked On Game to Game, MLB.
Every game, every team, every angle. Locked On Game to Game, your team every day.
Welcome in. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB, local experts joining us to go over all of the games for you from yesterday across Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. We thank you, as always, for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. The Red Sox swept their doubleheader with the Yankees on Sunday. Our Locked On Yankees host has more on why New York could not salvage one single win at Fenway.
This is Stacey Gotsoulias of Locked On Yankees, and the Yankees were swept into the Boston Harbor. By the Red Sox, I guess. I don't know. They were swept somewhere. They were swept into a bin. They just looked awful all weekend. 15-5 on Friday, rain out on Saturday. Thank you, Mother Nature, for listening to me. But then in the doubleheader on Sunday, they lose the first game 6-2, and then they lose the nightcap on ESPN 4-1. The offense, putrid in that second game. They weren't that great in the first game either, but the second game, specifically, 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. You can't win games when you're 0 for 11 with runners in scoring position. And ESPN put a fun fact up on the TV during the game. The team OBP, on-base percentage, is .299, the lowest it has been since 1968, the year of the pitcher. We'll have everything you need to know about this game, the whole weekend, and it's Minors Monday for Locked On Yankees, so please tune in.
The Marlins finished sweeping the Nationals with a 4-2 win in D.C. on Sunday, and our host with Locked On Nationals looks at a weekend of losses.
The Nationals dropped to the Miami Marlins of a score of 4-2. I'm Ryan Clary, host of Locked On Nationals here. Patrick Corbin did get the start today, giving up 11 hits through 6 innings, or only 4 earned runs. With Patrick Corbin, we'll take that any day of the week. Let's just be honest. That's the expectation for him. But even then, we talk about the bullpen a lot. The bullpen was only Corey Abbott today. He went 3 scoreless innings out of the bullpen for this Nationals team. But we did lose. The offense was not there. Lane Thomas, 2-run home run. That was big time there in that third inning of the game. Listen, Lane Thomas can't carry this team to a win every single day. It's going to happen. You're going to have guys like Keibert Ruiz, Stone Garrett when he's in the lineup, step up and take some of this pressure off this lineup. Ultimately, the Nationals just didn't get it done, and now we've only won 4 games in the last 25 against the Marlins. Not good.
The Orioles beat the Cubs, a team on a hot streak on Sunday, avoiding a sweep by taking a Sunday win in Chicago. Locked On Orioles has more after that road win.
I mean, they just do it every time. They do it every time. We are down and out on the Orioles. They're playing bad baseball. They're about to get swept, and then boom, they turn things on. Big 3-run 6th inning for the Orioles. They rally to beat the Cubs 6-3 on Sunday. Now, they still lose the series 2 out of 3, which is rough, but they still haven't been swept this season, and they still have not been swept since Adley Rutschman was called up to make his Major League debut last May. That's a pretty impressive stat. Dean Kramer did his job. Bullpen was really great. 4 scoreless innings from the pen. The pen's been a little shaky recently. This was a huge step forward for the bullpen on Sunday. And then the big rally, Austin Hayes helping with 3 hits. Ryan O'Hearn just crushing the baseball right now. Adley Rutschman had a key hit. Ryan McKenna, Jorge Mateo, Ramon Arias, Anthony Santander, all coming up. Adam Frazier, all with some big swings in this game. And the Orioles win it 6-3 to avoid the sweep. And I'll recap it all on Monday's episode of the Locked On Orioles podcast.
Both of the Angels MVPs hit home runs yesterday, and the Angels also beat the Royals in Kansas City in that process. Locked On Angels has the other details that you need to know from the win.
The Angels are coming home after a series win in Kansas City, taking this one on Sunday 5-2. What's going on, everybody? John Frisch, one half of Locked On Angels. The Halos were able to get the win thanks to Shohei Ohtani hitting a 2-run home run, leading all of MLB in home runs with 24. Mike Trout had a home run. His bat is coming around in this series. And Jared Walsh had a line drive add-on home run off a fastball, 94 miles an hour. That was great to see. Hopefully, Jared Walsh can start producing again. This is the kind of game and kind of series where you want to see guys get right if they're struggling, and we saw that with Trout and Jared Walsh. And then Brandon Drury had himself a series in Kansas City, defensively and offensively. Mike and I are going to recap the entire weekend, so we hope you'll join us on Locked On Angels on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts.
Coming up, the Rangers mount a huge comeback to beat the Blue Jays. This is Locked On Game to Game, MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Game to Game is brought to you by eBay Motors. A championship team is about each player being a perfect fit. The same thing goes for your vehicle. So for the parts that fit, head to eBay Motors and look for the green check. Stay in the game with eBay Guaranteed Fit, ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers, eligible items only, and exclusions do apply. Welcome back. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. The Reds are the new hottest team in baseball right now. They're winners of 8 in a row after finishing a sweep of the Astros yesterday. The Locked On hosts with both teams recap the series.
Woo! That's 8 wins in a row for your Cincinnati Reds, sweeping the Houston. Yes. Wait. I said that right. Sweeping the defending World Series champion Houston Astros. Absolutely beautiful performance. This team is good. The Cincinnati Reds are amazing. And guess what? Joey Votto comes back tomorrow. By the way, this is Jeff Carr from the Locked On Reds podcast. Amazing road trip for your Cincinnati Reds. 8-1. I don't even know how to follow that up. This team is so good. The way that they came back, the way that the Astros took the lead early and the Reds were like, don't care, gonna come back, gonna win this ball game. Extra innings, sweep the defending world champions at their home place. Let's go.
Look, this is how it goes. It's a long season. The Astros got swept. Yeah, so they've lost 7 of their last 10 or 10 of their last 17 or however you want to cut it. It's just not good baseball going on right now. You put up 5 runs to support Ronel Blanco, who had a really good start, 11 swings and misses, but in the end couldn't get it done. Errors, untimely hitting at the end of the game. We've given up 16 runs. This team's given up 16 runs in six extra inning games. That's a formula they have to figure out. They did call up Sean Dubin, which is a really good relief arm in the bullpen. They sent back down Brandon Bielak and put Lance McCullers on the 60-day IL. Check out all this and more on the latest edition of Locked On Astros. Remember, we're your team every day. Go Stros.
The Rangers came back from a 6-0 deficit in the 3rd inning to beat the Blue Jays on Sunday. Locked On Blue Jays takes you through that Toronto collapse.
Hello, friends. Craig Ballard, Locked On Blue Jays. Finally, Toronto Blue Jays get a laugh right as they blow out the Texas Rangers on Sunday afternoon to win the series. Took a 6-0 lead and just cruised. What's this, sorry? 11-7. Yeah, I guess for the Blue Jays, right? 6-0 Blue Jays. 11-7, you say, was the 11-7 for Texas. 6-0 Blue Jays became 11-7 for Texas as the Blue Jays lose this weekend series. Oh, boy. Okay. Wow. Well, the Blue Jays head into Miami to face a Marlins team that's won 11 of their last 13 games and overall on a 15-6 run over their last 21 games. Blue Jays 12-9 over that same span. Only glass half full I have to offer is tomorrow's Jose Barrios on the mound for the Blue Jays, and he is on fuego. He's lowered his ERA in 8 straight starts. Incredible run that he's on right now. Join me on Locked On Blue Jays on Mondays. We get set for that Barrios matchup, plus we'll get set for that entire series as well.
The White Sox finished up their 6-game road trip with just 2 wins after they lost to Seattle in their final game of the road trip yesterday. Locked On White Sox goes over the loss as Chicago heads home.
The Chicago White Sox lost to the Seattle Mariners 5-1 on Sunday. Hey, I'm Nick Morawski from Locked On White Sox. The Chicago White Sox lost the finale. They lost the series. They have now lost 3 series in a row. Sox starter Lance Lynn was just a beast on the mound on Sunday. 16 strikeouts, ties a team record. Who would have thought that from a guy hovering around 7 ERA coming into the game? Sox bullpen failed him. Ronaldo Lopez allowed a ton of traffic traffic and some late runs by the Mariners. Sox dropped to 11 games under 500, but are still just 5.5 games back in the AL Central. They host the Texas Rangers on the South Side for a 3-game series starting on Monday. For more, check out the Locked On White Sox podcast.
The Guardians unloaded 12 runs against the Diamondbacks in Arizona yesterday. After avoiding the sweep, Locked On Guardians has more after that blowout win.
Well, first off, happy day to all fathers out there. Start that off. And if you're a Guardians fan, it was a good Father's Day. It's been a rough weekend. It's been a rough West Coast trip, but a fun win today. A weird game, but when you win 12-3, you'll take it. Bo Naylor makes his debut this year, 3 pass balls, and gets struck out by the position player. It felt like we were seeing Mike Zunino out there still. It's that too low of a blow for Zunino. Listen, I thought the Zunino signing was solid at the time. It didn't work out. Glad to see Bo is up. This team was rolling. It was, again, another weird one in this one. Can I just throw out? Steven Kwan had 1 hit, no walks, and he scored 4 times. Just a fun game because they put up 12. I believe it was a 10-hit inning. They really put this one out of reach. Everyone reaching base. Great job all around offensively. Tanner Bybee wasn't as sharp, but you got to love that he worked through it and had a quality start. Maybe not a MLB quality start, but a quality start. Check out Locked On Guardians for more on this great win.
Nolan Arenado hit his second home run of the day to break a tie in the 9th inning and get the Cardinals a win over the Mets. Our Locked On Cardinals host has more after that late win.
The roller coaster ride that is the Cardinals season had heads spinning again on Sunday, but this time it ends with a W. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals, and the Cardinals did something on Sunday against the Mets that they hadn't done in quite some time. First, win back-to-back games. Second, actually win a series. But it wasn't easy. The Cardinals jumped out ahead early on a Nolan Arenado 2-run shot, ended up extending that lead to 5-1 at one point, but rookie Matthew Liberatore kept getting burned with 2 outs, and by the end of the 5th inning, we had a 7-7 ball game. But Arenado made his first Father's Day as a dad a memorable one by smashing his second home run of the game in the 9th inning. The Cardinals hold on for the 8-7 win. After the 5th inning, the bullpen was solid. Huge day for Arenado. Jordan Walker, Paul DeYoung also go yard, and guys got their first series win since May 21st. Well done, boys. Happy Father's Day, everybody. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
That's a wrap for this edition of Locked On Game to Game MLB. As always, we thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On MLB and your favorite team's Locked On podcast on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts from. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Game to Game.